So, She-Hulk episode 6 just dropped this past Thursday, and this will be my spoiler review of the episode. So, if you enjoyed this video today, feel free to like and subscribe for future Marvel content. Spoiler warning for She-Hulk episode 6. So, recapping what happens in the episode, so Jen gets invited to be a bridesmaid at an old friend's wedding, and she wears a dress that was made specifically for her She-Hulk form and arrives as She-Hulk, and the bride tells her to not be She-Hulk at the wedding itself because she's, drawing too much attention she's going to take away from the bride. So meanwhile, Mallory Book and who I didn't know her name from last week's review, but Mallory Book and Nikki are dealing with a man known as Mr. Immortal, who is a character in the comics, albeit it doesn't seem like they're going to make him important in the MCU at all. He has the same powers which were displayed in the show in the comics, and in the comics he was responsible for founding the Great Lakes Avengers. And it is kind of interesting because it might be important to note that in the comics, he's the only member of the Homo Supreme, which is a final stage of human evolution beyond that of even mutants. But he always identified as a mutant in the comics, though. And to me, him being in the show at all, along with all of these other superpowered people, we're seeing, honestly, to me, it raises the question of whether or not the X-Men truly have already and do exist in this universe, if someone like Mr. Immortal was able to be under the radar for an incredibly long time, because he was with one of his wives for, I think they said 16 years or something like that. So if all of these superpowered beings are able to be out there, it might actually be possible that the X-Men have existed the whole time and we just haven't seen them, although it will be kind of crappy if, they've been here the whole time, they didn't help with Infinity War and Endgame and stuff, but, I digress. So Titania shows up as a date to someone who is attending the same wedding as Jen, but she's clearly there just to mess with her. And meanwhile, a romance seems to break out between Jen and this dude that's there, Josh. So back to the B story, Mallory and Nikki are cutting a deal with Mr. Immortal's many wives who feel cheated by him, and they mention finding out about his abilities via a site known as Intelligentsia. So in the comics, the Intelligentsia was a group of mastermind supervillains like MODOK and the Leader, who are actually responsible for turning Thunderbolt Ross into Red Hulk in the comics. So seeing as it seems like we're going to get MODOK in the Quantum Realm and Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, I think this just further solidifies for me that the person behind trying to get She-Hulk's blood is most likely the Leader from the 2008 Incredible Hulk movie, who was also confirmed to be the villain in the new Captain America New World Order movie coming out in 2024. So Jen ends up getting super drunk at the wedding, and Titania starts a fight with her, but we have kind of a funny moment where Jen is so drunk she can't even turn into She-Hulk initially, but she ends up transforming successfully, and she fights Titania and she knocks her veneers out of her mouth and embarrasses her while everybody's recording and stuff. I thought it was a pretty decent fight. The CGI I thought the CGI in this episode was pretty fine. It was better than some other episodes. Mallory and Nikki look over the Intelligentsia site and see a bunch of threats made about Jen, and then Nikki leaves a message with Jen to let her know, and the episode ends with scientists in a lab putting together a syringe of some type that was most likely designed to pierce She-Hulk's skin. So with this episode, overall, I didn't think it was bad. It was definitely a filler episode, and I do think it was kind of I don't know, it was kind of like a dickish thing to put Daredevil's outfit at the end of last episode and not get him in this episode. And they did make a joke about it, an inconveniently timed wedding that she has to attend and stuff like that. And that joke was funny, I get it, but at the same time, it's just kind of people want to see that, man. So I wish they just didn't tease him as early. But this did just feel like a filler episode. So this episode and the last episode, I'm pretty sure too, for the most part, they're just kind of they both feel like fillers to me, except the interesting things they're putting in where, they teased Daredevil's outfit at the end of last episode, and then they're teasing the Intelligentsia along with a climax of some sort towards getting She-Hulk's blood again, and we're hopefully going to figure out who's actually behind it and stuff. But I'm hoping that there starts to be more of an antagonistic presence outside of Titania, because Titania is obviously a nuisance. but she's not gonna be like a main actual threat. It looks like in this series, it looks like whatever's going on with the intelligentsia is going to be the main thing about getting She-Hulk's blood. That's going to be the main villainy aspect of this series. So I'm interested to see how they're going to conclude the story with that. So comment down below if you enjoyed She-Hulk episode 6, and if you enjoyed this video today, feel free to like and subscribe for future Marvel content, and I appreciate you for watching the video.